My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
That's amplified audible activity. And I just want to be clear, that is literally like a fictitious sound of a train. The entity is engaging in what is the amplified audible activity creation, sounding what is reminiscent of the sound of a train. This is demonic. It's serving for what is monitoring me, period. And I also want to be clear, the entity is engaging in what you just heard incessantly. As I start recording, it stops. Okay? This is P.O.C. The entity vacillates with the volume. It goes higher and lower. The entity also uses that method of activity creation to engage in what is harassment and stalking with activity. Stalking with activity is, again, that creation of audible activity that occurs with simultaneity to what I'm physically doing and to what I do on a communication device. That sounds like an organ, like a musical instrument. It does not actually sound like a train. It's also that which is ongoing with regard to the length of time that this sound is occurring. This is speaking to what is the audible activity creation that's sounding under the sound of a train, that's occurring under the guise of what sounds as a train. I'm describing to you what is demonic, first of all, and I'm describing what is the method of engaging in demonic activity, occurring under what is sound that you would identify based on what surrounds. So there's a train track at the museum, and the entity uses the method of train activity very heavily because of that. The entity is engaging in what is the creation of audible activity reminiscent of the sound of the train, but it actually does not even sound like a train, and it is also that which is occurring with what sounds like an instrument, and it goes on and on and on, like that's what it was doing right now when I started recording. As I start recording, then it stops. Okay, this is the same thing that the entity does with regard to everything that I'm documenting. The entity that's stalking by helicopter engages in the what it's doing with regard to the audible activity, with regard to what is the continuous flight around me or over me, the creation and sounding with sirens, with ongoing knowledge of everything that I'm documenting as I document it. And so I just want to be clear, this is the sound of what's supposedly the train on the tracks. I just want to be clear, this is speaking to what is audible activity creation, period. This is the P.O.C. This is audible activity creations, amplified audible activity. But I'm also recording this because this is what the entity is engaging in, what is nothing other than surrounding with ongoing noise and engineered light. And it is that which is not even, it actually does not sound like a train. And that is not a train that's engaged in just an ongoing, incessant sound of just a long horn that's not stopping. That's not sounding like a train. And this is what the entity is doing. So I want to document. It's a method of what is harassment. And this is the P.O.C. It's 12:31 a.m. And it is a part of what is nothing other than alternating ongoing noise at the museum. The people of the state engaging in what is harassment as well. You have demons that are out here yelling and doing so while those demons are listening to me fall asleep, engaging in what is harassment by. This is exactly what the entity is engaging in on an ongoing pattern. You're vacillating between planes, helicopter, train, sirens, loud traffic, loud minions, maintenance of audible activity and engineer light. Okay, it's the P.O.C. for monitoring. It's also ongoing harassment by an entity, a demon-possessed one that's engaging in what is criminal monitoring and what is terrorism while they're engaging in that conduct as you're documenting it. Okay, it's 12:32 a.m. And that's literally supposed to be, while I'm at the museum, that's supposedly the train that you hear like riding on the tracks. Like I stated, the entity engages in the creation of such noise when there is not even a train physically on the tracks. So I'm breaking down as literally as I can with words to articulate what the entity is doing. It's entirely demonic, and it is not relying upon any actual train being on the tracks. And it is that which is occurring for nothing other than the purpose of harassment, while the entity just engages in what is an incessantly sounding horn that's not like actually sounds like a train. So I just want to document that. It's 12:33 a.m. in the morning, and that is for the prosecution, by the way. That's the people of the state and Union Pacific and Amtrak to be prosecuted for that. It's facilitating the government's criminal system, the monitoring with the government, while I remain here at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. It's Thursday, May 5th, 2022. This is P.O.C. It's 1:02 a.m. I'm documenting what is the entity that's stalking by helicopter, sounding helicopter activity, and just as the entity did with the train activity as I was documenting, immediately the helicopter activity ceases as I begin recording. But again, I've already substantiated with what is a wealth of evidence. The entity is engaging in obsessive stalking by helicopter, and that's exactly what it's doing right now at 1:02 a.m. It's still, again, Thursday, May 5th, 2022. The entity is engaging in what is obsessive stalking, and this is ongoing harassment and terrorism while monitoring documentation. And this is evidence that's going toward what is federal prison of the people of the state. The people of the state of California are directly engaged in what the entity is doing, stalking by helicopters and stalking by law enforcement, stalking and facilitating criminal conduct such as in the way that Union Pacific does, for example, using a train. This is documentation of the people of the state as well. It's 1:03 a.m. And that's exactly what ceased seconds ago. It's restarting now. While the entity listens to me talk about the fact that it stopped sounding helicopter activity. It's 1:03 a.m. This is ongoing stalking that is on a 24-hour basis. And this is going toward the prosecution of the people of the state. Okay, now as I begin recording, the entity that was sounding that helicopter activity immediately ceased the sound of that helicopter activity. And I want to be clear, that's the demonic conduct that I'm speaking to. That's the demonic feature. The entity engages in this conduct with every method of audible activity. This is speaking to what is amplified audible activity. It's speaking to what is serving the purpose of surrounding me with that particular method of nothing other than noise and engineered light. This is the demonic activity that's underway. It's occurring in what is engineered light. Criminal monitoring is underway by a demon-possessed population. And it is also that which is occurring with ongoing knowledge of the fact that I'm documenting on my phone. The entity ceases sounding helicopter activity immediately, and as I document that, then resumes sounding the helicopter activity. Okay, so I want to document that. It is equally damning while the entity is documented stalking by helicopter. But like I said, I've already shown what is hundreds of video documentation of the entity that is indeed a stalking by helicopter, and that's exactly what the entity was doing. And so that is ongoing confirmation that I didn't even need the state to provide, but it is nonetheless going toward the prosecution of actors such as the Ontario Police Department. They're going to federal prison. The entity is stalking on an ongoing basis and monitoring documentation while they are engaging in seeking to conceal the fact that they are engaged in heavily documented stalking conduct. It's 1:05 a.m. This is that demon-possessed entity, the people of the state. As you hear that helicopter activity, the people of the state are group stalking. This is P.O.C. Flying in circles, it's 1:06 a.m. This is a helicopter flying over me. Now, this is the government threatening you in your face. The people of the state are doing so while they're standing around you, shopping around you, working around you, living around you, stalking on behalf of that government. And this is why you have no legal argument. While you live in relevant position, you work in relevant position, you are anywhere in relevant position, you are subject to what is the prosecution as the people. Stalking with this government that's doing so in your face. Because you need to understand what the people of the state are doing while they're staying on the sidewalk or they're sitting at a stoplight. They're stalking you in your face with this government. That's the system of group stalking. And that is going to, prosecution is going to slice that entire system down to size. And you will be going to federal prison for what you are no longer capable of doing in an American citizen's face, which is threatening the life, while the entity is engaging in this system of federal group stalking and monitoring. And that's why the government is engaged in obsessive stalking by helicopter and police, fire, and ambulance. This is P.O.C. It's 1:07 a.m. I want to be clear, this is a demon that is flying a helicopter representing the government in California that's engaging in monitoring. This is a demon. This is the conduct of Satan. This is demonic activity. This is a demon with access to a helicopter, and it is to the demise of the people of the state and the government itself, because there are very real people who are a part of the government in the state of California that's operating the system who are going to federal prison. While you're listening to that chopper fly over me over and over again, there are people that are going to federal prison for this. And that's going to be federal policy. It is currently 1:08 a.m. That's evidence going forward. Just for example, Stephanie Ortiz, she's going to federal prison, so she's listening to the evidence. It's continuously accumulated against her. This is P.O.C.
By the way, it's very clear to tell that Cardi was only...
All right, so you hear that? The entity engaging in what is the incessant sound of that horn turned up times 10. In doing so, again, while the entity knows that I'm not recording, immediately as I switch to the podcast app. This is the entity doing the same thing while stalking by helicopter, okay? And the entity, the volume immediately turns down. And you're also paying attention to what is the high frequency of the use of the train. There's no passenger train. This is not Amtrak. This is Union Pacific going back and forth and back and forth. And again, the entity engages in creating the sound of the train when there is not even a train on the tracks. It's the maintenance of audible activity, period. But I'm capturing what is ongoing for the prosecution of the entity. This is the ongoing harassment while an entity is engaging in the very conduct that I'm documenting. The entity engages in harassment by repeating it, making it louder, making it longer in duration, and doing so frequently. Okay, so it's 1:27 a.m. and that's the prosecution for what is harassment by an entity engaged in federal stalking. That's Union Pacific, and doing so at 1:27 a.m. While monitoring me, okay, and molesting me. This is a sex offender. This is a company to be prosecuted for that, while engaging in what is terrorism, while, again, acting on behalf of what is a demonic entity. So I just want to document that, and what you hear, the entity immediately turning down the volume, the entity engaging in what is monitoring me while doing so, but also in real time with regard to my documentary endeavors. All right, so that is ceasing that loud volume, immediately turning the volume down, immediately ceasing the sound of a horn. It's absolutely pathetic. This is literally the stalker that's stalking you, being a total creepy weirdo, and then as soon as you turn on your camera, turns on their about face, hides their cell phone, and just starts chatting with anybody that's around as though they're normal. That's essentially what they're doing with the audible. It's entirely pathetic. But like I said, you hear what is amplified audible activity. This is the incessant use, as I've documented 20 to 25 times overnight, the entity using what is the sound of a train. And remember, this is a train that's so loud that it's heard all throughout Ontario, okay? While I'm at the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue walking on the sidewalk, the entity amplifying the sound of this train. While I'm inside of the vehicle that would be parked outside of the intersection at Fern and G Street, while I was inside of the vehicle, right, on Fern Street, and the entity amplifying the sound of the train inside of that vehicle, suggesting that everybody in Ontario is hearing the same audible activity, because that's what's reasonably suggested when you're amplifying that. This is not the case. It's demonic, okay? You're also talking about what is not normally going to be heard, but while you're engaged in that conduct and you hear it, you know where I'm at, and you hear that audible activity that I'm documenting, it is capturing the demonic, it's demonic activity, and it is serving for what is a very real prosecution while you're engaging in what is that which is actually impossible to occur. You're actually not going to hear the train at that volume. And also, that's not going to be a level of a public nuisance that's going to occur, all right? Using a train this frequently, creating that wide of a disturbance at such a great distance. This is speaking to what is demonic, and it's the same thing, the entity stalking by helicopter ceasing the moment that I start recording. This is that pathetic entity that is an obsessive stalker. But you're talking about what is incontrovertible direct evidence of it. Not only that you're a stalker, but you're a psychopath that can't even hide or act like you're not stalking. So I'm also going to document the fact that you're so pathetic, you cease engaging in the stalking activity as I begin documenting it, which you're also going to be prosecuted for. This is a psychopath, okay? It's currently 1:29 a.m. You're getting acquainted with the personality of Satan. Satan is a loser. Satan is pathetic. Satan is an obsessed stalker. And Satan is being proven as so also in a federal court. And this is the prosecution of the people of the state, because you need to understand that they are the demon-possessed entity that engage in the same exact shared quality. All right? It is 1:30 a.m. P.O.C. XJC 635. It's currently 8:20 a.m. 3BLX 971. Gate City crossing path. License 8GEN 724. 4LTS 570. MXA 809. 6NCA 280. 7KNW 402. Student Transportation of America. License plate 7HOU461. 7U98454. City of Ontario, crossing path, license 1416. 1416303. 6VPD 950. 7VPV029. 8SRU 993. Rider 03324 T1. 7T10880. 6KJD 102. 8TJL399. 5FBC 149. 8MQF 684. 8LLN 921. 6VOR 194. 8WMK 059. 1PULGA 13319P1. That's Diamond Environmental Services. License 7XKA 273. 2VSV 819. No, go ahead. This is Ontario Montclair School District, crossing paths with directed light like every other demon. License 1316820. BV16U56 paper. 4RH5921. That's a large truck. 6KGK076. 7SML144. And the correct license plate of student transportation is 7HOD461. 5ZVG945, 5RRS258, 7WFL397, 5DWA649. And Omnitrans Route 61 is group stalking in the path. They're engaged in terrorism with the people. Omnitrans represents the people of the state while they are pacing around me with directed light, streaming backwards toward me. These are psychopaths. These are demons. And then they engage in stalking you in a bathroom while they engage in this conduct. That's a psychopath. That's what I mean. When I'm just revealing to you, I break down the pattern of conduct, and then these demons, and then they're mad as you document them. That's a whole psychopath. That's Satan, though, and that's going to be the prosecution, because you're talking about what is an unlawful threat, what is a delusional psychopath, which is also a threat to your life while you're monitoring and stalking somebody else, and you're a sex offender, and then you're hostile while somebody is enforcing their rights. Yeah, that's going toward their prosecution. And every ounce of that pattern of conduct that I've shown, including the delusional psychopath, is substantiated with evidence. All right, so you're talking about what's the psychopath that's going around stabbing people, for example, like I said, and trying to hide a bloody knife behind their back, just holding it behind their back, is driven with blood on the ground. There's blood on the ground. There's blood on their shirt. Okay, they have blood smeared on the side of their face, and they're just holding the knife behind their back and cheesing and smiling and holding on a conversation while they're standing outside as though nothing happened. And nobody sees that blood. Nobody sees none of that evidence. Nobody sees the big knife that they're holding behind their back in plain sight. That's a delusional psychopath. And everything that you're doing is known. Okay, and that's even a threat while you are engaging in bearing that weapon. In other words, engaging in that crime, and then holding it behind your back like somebody's fooled. Nobody's fooled by that, and that is entirely demented. 51508X2. So who are you fooling? You're fooling yourself. This is the system of group stalking, that unlawful threat by a delusional psychopath who is continuously stalking and then hostile as you document and prosecute them. Okay, that's relevant toward the prosecution of the entity that's engaging in terrorism. All right, that's just Satan that does not appreciate and does not like the fact that it's being revealed and is being prosecuted. And nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. License 8KWW 548, 8CYG 547, 7XVS 873, 7VCR 135, 6YCG 066, 7JJL 529, 76702E2. 6UHY 734, 8PJV 322, 7AVW 372, 7ZPT 257, WINNIEC 8TDB 502, BNSQUEN 8WQL 282, Chafee Joint Union High School. Those demons, license plate 1302408. You've seen Visser Bus. That's exactly what Chafee Joint Union is doing. Terrorism, sexual violence. They're driving school buses. Prosecution as group stalking sex offenders. They will not be able to be exposed to the public like that, especially driving school buses around children, etc. While they're demons engaging in this terrorism. I'm a grown woman, but you're talking about what is opposed to the threat of your condition is a threat to the public. While you're stalking another, and you're a whole psychopath driving a school bus, terrorizing and stalking somebody else. License 1302404. Those are the demons driving Chafee Joint Union High School buses, stalking, monitoring. 7SMM488. License plate 8UBT602, and reference my documentation. First of all, my documentation showing what is directed light, period. This is what they're doing, driving Chafee Joint Union buses, and that's criminal summoning that Chafee Joint Union High School is engaging in right now at 8:26 a.m. All right, crossing path is Omnitran. It is currently 8:31 a.m. 7YTS 051. 7UGT 765.
Stop requested.
License.
If possible, please use rear doors.
These demons crossing path, and the entity now aiming the directed light on the roof of the bus. Impossible light while they are crossing path. This is the stalking with light conduct. This is the demonstration of demon possession by the people of the state. 8AVA 951. 8VAS 433. And that is group stalking by the demon possessed. And you can see the same exact light activity, 8EJB 867, I believe. You can see this exact same light activity that I'm referencing while I'm on Route 83 yesterday in the morning, driving, I believe it is at 9:08 a.m. in that video in particular, while I'm pointing out my location and the fact that it's not over, the light source is over me while I'm going toward Chino, and it's not stationary over the Upper Public Library, which is just one example using that specific timestamp. But the directed light, you see it also while I'm pointing that out. Directed light is above my head, flashing on the roof of the bus, and this is what they're doing while they're driving by. All right, and the Chafee Joint Union High School engaging in this demonic activity while they're driving by. The directed light is on the asphalt while I'm on the bus. The directed light is on the bus, the upper portion, the roof above my head. I'm on the bus at the same time that their vehicles are driving by. Entirely demonic. All right, so you need to understand the demon-possessed population, as I've already shown. I've already documented this, but again, I'm just pointing out to you what it is that I'm documenting, prosecuting, and revealing to you at the same time. There are demons, the demon-possessed, the people with the spirit of Satan that are exercising control over your children, driving school buses, 6PWF773, while they are exercising control over your children, custody over your children, transporting them with that condition upon them, which, by the way, 8VOF800 bears a lot of threats toward the safety and well-being of those children. You're talking about what are senseless acts that occur, acts of violence, even quote-unquote accidents that occur, and you don't know the condition of the people where those sort of things are reported on the news. I just want to point that out to you. You're dealing with what is a matter of public corruption. You're dealing with what are the demon-possessed, and they are not only engaged under that condition, their position is such that they are operating school buses, which is implicating children, while they are engaging in what is criminal conduct at the same time, targeting somebody else while you're driving a school bus. That kids are going to be getting on and off, right? You are in the custody of children, in a position to exercise that sort of trust over your child. And I'm speaking not to the minions that are, they're parents with children. I'm talking to those that are ignorant about what it is that I'm revealing, and those are the implications. This is the demon-possessed population, and it goes even beyond that. When you're thinking about the demon-possessed population, you're talking about the demon-possessed that are flying airplanes that you're boarding, driving the vehicles that you're boarding. This is an ongoing threat. Understand that I don't go into while I'm documenting, but the ongoing threat is existing. While you're monitoring me, this is a threat to my life while a demon is driving a bus. And this is what you need to understand. And this is everything that you're going to prosecute for, because this is the reality of that criminal conduct. Ignorance of that condition, ignorance of the criminal system that you're subject to, you could attribute a quote-unquote accident to what is, somebody just sped out and, they didn't see them. And you're talking about what is absolute ignorance with regard to the surrounding circumstances. Federal group stalking and monitoring. The condition of everyone involved. The fact that one that is in that such a circumstance is a targeted individual. 29553D2, that's her rentals. These are relevant facts. And I just want to point that out. And so they are targeting directed light onto the roof of the bus while I'm now sitting on the bus. And this is, again, like I said, not just the demons driving Chaffee Joint Union High School and Brinks security vehicles, as I captured on video. All right, that is the people of the state. The people of the state that are then sitting around inside of whatever venue that I'm at, using the bathroom, pacing all around outside of the bathroom, monitoring, stalking, and directed light, while the entity keeps a fake sun over me. 74833F1, in other words, subject to the same system, and demons are stalking in bathroom stalls. That's entirely creepy, all right? And sexually violent conduct. It's currently 8:40 a.m. This entity is stalking on the roads and the highways, wherever it is that I go, and they're stalking inside of whatever building I'm at, and they're also stalking in the bathroom. Okay? It is currently 8:41 a.m. CIN 529. It looks like Union Pacific that is crossing path, not on a train, obviously, via a pickup truck. Got the gold and yellow stripe on it, but I don't see the Union Pacific, the little logo. But I can't see the license plate either, so that's why. But anyway, 8:42 a.m. Union Pacific is highly documented, as you as I continuously reveal. Medical response, vehicle 82302, I believe, and California Highway Patrol. They are nearest what is the intersection of 6th Street and Euclid Avenue, stalking in the path of light. Caltrans as well. These are state actors. License 8. KBA. I can't see that on this person. 6XVV439. I believe. And it's 8:43 a.m. We're on 7th Street in Euclid Avenue. And in case I did not state it, I think I did, but just to be clear, I'm on Route 83. And this is the same exact employee that was operating the bus yesterday. XBN 935 8XRPO23. 151J1. R06007 788. I can't really see that. It's stressful.
Requested. If possible, please use rear doors.
Sí, por favor, usar.
TZK048, 7TEN835. R06007. Alrighty, this is bus 2341, route 83, and the license plate is 1545797. I get off at 8:45 a.m. at the intersection of Arrow Highway and Euclid Avenue right now. All right, this demon operating Brink security vehicle, license plate 2961971, vehicle 192275. Capturing the fake sun. Pay attention to the directed light that's on the driver's side of the vehicle, pointing toward me in my direction in possible light. The fake sun is right here over me at the intersection of Arrow Highway and Euclid Avenue. And like I stated, Brink security engaging in what is group stalking. Again, understand group stalking is intentional presence. That's coming to where I am. You are stalking, and it's deliberate presence. You're not just driving by in traffic. And Brink security is also engaging in that conduct. I'm capturing them on video and pointing out the fact that they're kidnapping. The entity likes to engage in that pattern, and so I did capture close-up images of that demon, that directed light, and the fake sun. 8NJM571, license 8LTZ280, 8ZAV885. BV28W20 paper, 8FFY012, 7YLD288, 8XER890, 5RHK089, 7PJN236. It's currently 8:49 a.m. 5WMD 298, I believe. 5WMD 298. Yeah. (82113) like dash N, and that's an Arizona plate. (8:49 a.m.) Alrighty, capturing video of the light source over me at the Upland Public Library, and this is during daylight savings time. I do have the light source over the venue much earlier than 8:56 as well, while on public transportation, and I'm on Route 83, for example, and or in Tracy Banks's vehicle, another third party, the same entity, the people of the state, and the light source is moving in the direction necessarily that I'm moving, which is north and south on Euclid Avenue. And the light source is early at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, is moving right over the property of the Upland Public Library, speaking to and I'm focusing on the Upland Public Library because this is the venue where I'm at, where I remain during the day, for example, like I did yesterday in Chino, California, and the entity keeps a light source over that entrance, over that parking lot, over me, and not just over the entrance in the parking lot, which is an impossible occurrence while you're keeping a light source in Upland, California, and before that you're keeping it over Fontana Lewis Library, and over me while I'm en route to that library, where I'm going nowhere in the direction of Route 61. I'm on Route 83, which runs north and south, and you're staying on that street, moving in those directions at the beginning and the end of the day, stalking with a light source. And as I'm documenting that, I'm just speaking to what is capturing the demonic, as the rest of the world is also witnessing it, because based on what are scientific facts, there's only one sun. And as I'm documenting what is a light source that's supposed to be the sun, it is exclusive and speaking to what is the absence of the possibility that that's the sun, based on the scientific evidence of the sun, that is remaining over everyone else, because there is indeed a light source over of every other state. Like, I've been out of state, I've been in Florida. It's not, the sun is in the sky, all right? So like I stated, I'm speaking to what is capturing the impossible. The entity is keeping a light source over me that is not possibly the sun, based on that character, and I've documented that. In addition to that, what is impossible, because there's supposedly only one sun, the rest of, you're talking about what is a light source that's maintained over, as I have experienced, because like I stated, I have lived in other states, and I have been to other countries. And so this is speaking to what is an impossible occurrence. That's impossible to coexist, all right? Because you are in no way able to reasonably suggest, at least, that that's the sun that's hovering over the Upland Public Library. As a matter of just, we could just use that one single address. The light source is remaining for the duration of the day, and that's what the documentation, the cumulative documentation establishes, from morning until evening. All right, remaining over one building, remaining over me while I'm inside of the building, remaining in alignment with me as I leave that building. That is not the sun that is present on the same street in order to do so, in order to be present there, in order to maintain light activity inside of that venue. That evidence of in and of itself, which is the pattern that I've documented everywhere that I go. All right, so you're talking about that does not make it the sun, because the entity is engaged in obsessive stalking with the light source. And it's not just the light source itself, it's the directed light, which is a distinct method, another distinct method of stalking with light. But you have what is the entity that's keeping a light source over the roof of the Upland Public Library. No, there is no sun that's hovering over anybody in downtown Los Angeles. Okay, over the county building in whatever county, let's just say San Diego. Okay. You're talking about, and my point is, I'm naming a random place because it is that exclusive. The light source is directly over the roof, and that light source in and of itself is not one that is maintaining omnipotent presence over everything at the same time in that central manner, which is what this is what you would necessarily have to suggest, which is that's not the conduct of the sun. That's an impossibility. That's not the case. You're talking about time, the movement, the supposed movement of the sun, then it's not maintaining some central presence, and it's not remaining over a building stationary for the duration of the day. 8ZBL429. So all I'm doing is breaking down the logistics of what the entity is doing with the light source, and then the implications of that, what logically follows with what the entity is doing, and how what I've documented is irreconcilable, and what it is revealing about the rest of the environment, okay? Because where I'm at, I'm showing you what the entity is doing with the fake sun. Where I am not at, for example, I'm not in Madera, California. I'm not in Northern California. I'm not in San Francisco, California. I'm not in Texas. I'm not in Nebraska. But I also don't have to be, as I'm revealing what is remaining over my head, which is a light source that is not possibly the sun, based on that conduct of this light source over me, and based on what is scientific facts, that there is supposedly only one sun. That is exclusive. That is exclusive what I'm showing you, that's remaining over the roof, remaining over me all day long, and that is speaking to what is over you, wherever it is that you're at. And I mean, when you are in Fontana, California, that's not the sun that is over your head while it is remaining as a matter of documentation, which is relevant to the rest of the world, what the entity is doing with the light source over me, where I am remaining for the duration of the day. That's how broadly reaching that documentation is, because there's only one sun, supposedly. 8FJA436, 8LPF189. That's how broad reaching, That's how far-reaching that documentation is, because of the fact of what's supposedly exclusive, the sun, the nature of what is the conduct with this light source and revealing what's going on in the environment. And again, the light source in and of itself is distinct from what is also showing not the sun. It's not even sunlight. All right, I've shown you what is the abnormal light, the engineered light, and what goes on in this environment where I am documenting what is a highly peculiar environment and a natural one, and it's revealing what's going on in the rest of the world. All right, because it's speaking to what is not only one light source, because that's not the sun. So you're talking about what is a fallacy there, and there's more than one light source. That's how you have what is a sunny day in Los Angeles, California, while the entity keeps the fake sun literally above the roof at 450 North Euclid Avenue, while I'm in Upland, California, and while I'm in Chino, California. That's very exclusive conduct with a light source that is in no way the sun. All right, and it's not remaining present over everybody at the same time. While it's physically remained, the object is physically remaining over me, over my head. Okay, license 59467N1 7ZBY253. I am at 7-Eleven, and it's 9:03 a.m. All right, that's the conduct that Union Pacific likes to engage in. Amazon Prime is group stalking at Allure Image. And license 88KJ012, monitoring with, that's going to be Metrolink because I'm in Upland. The train station is over here, so the entity will create noise around me, and it's supposed to be attributed to the environment that's around you. That's amplification of train activity as I walk outside. 7KDA 594, 8KUB 457. And doing so under the fake sun that is not in alignment with me on some Euclid Avenue while I am on Route 83, which is where I was yesterday at 9:08 a.m. as I captured video. It's 9:12 a.m. The entity's keeping the fake sun over the 7-Eleven where you're hearing that train activity. That's called facilitation, and Amazon Prime is monitoring in relevant position at Allure Image. It's an African-American male operating this truck. License 8R25320-6SSR330. Alrighty, and I did capture that. This is P.O.C. at Allure Image, which is in relevant position to the 7-Eleven where I'm at. 8B25320, in case I didn't say that license plate correctly. There's also, it's not just African American, there's a heavyweight Latino male. This is Amazon Prime. They can deliver whatever they want. I say, like I stated before, in jest, but I'm dead serious. You're talking about what is the pattern of conduct. You can deliver a baby. If Amazon wants to start delivering babies, they can do that. Guess what? Under the fake sun and indirected light, while you're molesting with directed light, while you're stalking with the state that likes to stalk by helicopters, you're engaged in the P.O.C. And you are dragging that company, and the American citizen can drag them in federal court as well. 5173683, there is no form, okay? And so 8EZZ242, meaning there is nothing that you're engaging in that's going to be identified or looked at or analyzed as anything other than that pattern of conduct, which is designed to appear on the outset as though it's normalcy, and it's absolute abnormalcy. That's Metrolink engaging in audible activity creation monitoring with the company Amazon Prime, 6JTL438 at the third-party facilitating venue, Allure Image. Metrolink is proceeding westbound at the Upland station, and it's 9:14 a.m. That's going to be on surveillance cameras. 6MFW258, 8FMW397, 8LMN348, 7UIP600, 7MRE781. All right, it is currently 9:14 a.m. 8EZZ242. This is the light source that's over Allure Image. That's where I'm taking still images, and you'll see the light source directly over me while I'm capturing the people of the state. And the entity is using companies that represent the people of the state. It's nothing other than a method of presence, while the exact same elements of monitoring the exact same unnatural environment, the scientific impossibility, the demonic. It is demonic activity, which you are aware of while you're looking at what are company logos. 39724W1, 8MZN797. It is currently 9:15 a.m. 7WYA552. Velocity, that's the name of this trucking company, 10304H3. That's not the license plate of Velocity. That's another third party. 95064B1. 88WB818. 7NFS. I want to say 285, but I can't see the third to last character. You scratch that one. 6YUV892. Six UCP 925, 8 WTG. I can't see the rest of them. 6 XWP 535, 44235 W1, 28935 K1, 8 WCE 070, 9 NHAF hand S. That's the symbol of like a hand on their license plate. And those are those minions that are group stalking inside, making noise in the path. Fake sun is over me. That's what demons do. It's 9:18 a.m. License 7GTP 361. ZAB 324. 8ZTS 268. 00505M2. 60673R2, 8RDH 658, 8SHF 983, 7VZD 299. 8VXN 169. 7H20238. 7KZT648, 6MNX412, 8DUP235, 4RVN243, 7AVC093, 8PVW077, 06621K2, 6Y72160, 8MQN815, BM33VO1 paper, 7THX602, 7NMA018, 7DGB616, 5UXY, I think I want to see that one. And it's 9:21 a.m. License 48N8548, 72346F3, 7EMW730. Alrighty, and Upland Police are group stalking over here at the Upland Unified School District, and the entity is engaged in a grand departure. This is the understanding what is an impermissible threat. The entity is stalking with a fake sun, monitoring your documentation, and continuously engaging in that ongoing stalking conduct. License KTHZGMC, and this is a glaring issue. You're talking about what is the fake sun that's over me while I'm on the bus going to Chino. Engaged in a grand departure. The fake sun is remaining right here over me at this intersection at D Street and Euclid Avenue in Upland. 90856. That's the Chaffee Joint Union High School. In Upland, stationary over me where I'm standing at this intersection, I am on a bus in motion, present at the venue, on Omnitrans, and then getting off in the city of Chino, where I remain until the end of the day. There is no sun that is at the same time remaining stationary over me while I'm en route. And this goes for on and on. My documentation while I'm in Pomona, en route to Pomona, remaining in Pomona, in Fontana, en route to Fontana, remaining in Fontana. And this is while I'm en route to, going from Ontario to Upland to Montclair, from Ontario to Upland to Rancho Cucamonga. And you have the entity that's keeping the light source stationary, all right? And Upland police are engaging in 6LGV731, holding hands with the people of the state, group stalking together, 8AFD599, 7UIW567, a license 8SSE963. And I want to be clear, these are the eyes and ears and the body, the vessels, if you will, of those demons that are flying helicopters. They're around me on the ground, group stalking. 8FNN059, that's an old white man, a demon, directed light fanning out toward me while crossing path. It's facilitation for the demon-possessed Upland police that are group stalking, license plate 1464389. And this is vehicle number 224, HOLLSRN, 8WEZ542. And they are crossing path, maintaining presence. This is group stalking conduct. And you'll see demons driving school buses, Chaffee Joint Union High School, demons driving their own vehicle, an old white man, okay? Same conduct, 35839W2, 7AYE255. Claws and Sons, 6X41117, 8RKV790, 8VXX424, 6MOJ743, 6368672, 8CVX579, FP10249, 7VBP019. This is a federal plate 0596U. That's a F12. All right, license 8VRC548. It's so funny. It is currently 9:24 a.m. 8NLM474, 7WMB630, 8WWJ840, 6LPH201, 8WJX880, 8FWY143, 8LEE425. Already capturing the demon possession of the people of the state who continue to provide that evidence, helping the world understand while I'm providing a tutorial as to what is a prosecution for criminal conduct and the condition of those engaging in that criminal conduct, 6VIA980. And it is demon possession, 35676L2. That is FedEx, that is of that same condition. FedEx is nothing other than a name whereby you are identifying a company, companies that are engaging in what is the operation of a satanic system in concert and on behalf of an entity, the public entity of the state of California. And these are demons that are operating these commercial vehicles, Amazon Prime and FedEx, for example. The Upland Police Department, who are group stalking, while the entity is today keeping the fake sun stationary over me on whatever street that I'm at in Upland, California, and it is not remaining over Chino, and anywhere over the city of Chino. You have how does this occur? The entity is stalking with a light source that is not possibly the sun. And that's how documentation is what directly reveals that. Not only based, again, upon the multiple angles of analysis, based on duration of time. The entity's light source remains over me, for example, at this venue until the end of the day. That's not the sun. License 8GLF738. And I've documented that. It's over now. We're in this video at 9:25 a.m. Again, I'm capturing video yesterday when I'm in route to Chino at the same exact time, referencing what is prior documentation that's mutually exclusive to this video and the video yesterday at the same exact time, 9:25 a.m., 7 CEV364. A demon crossing path in the same way that you saw on video. Directed light is moving across the asphalt while this demon is driving by. That's called group stalking. They're crossing path. They're stalking in the path, monitoring with communication device and facilitating that conduct while that light activity is surrounding me. That's what the group stalking system system is. And this is that which is on behalf of the government that is captured in hundreds of videos and images, stalking by helicopter. This is the government that's acting through the people. The people are of that same condition, demon possession. 98GP245. I'm also documenting the Upland Police, whose vehicle is in relevant position right here, speaking to their presence while they are monitoring, all right, and doing so at the venue where the fake sun is directly over my head, and the fake sun is in no way possible at the same time over some particular vehicle, let alone any vehicle, while it's driving on Eucalyptus to what is Central Avenue College Park by the Ruba and S.I.I.S, arriving at the the Chino Transit Center, where I'm present at approximately 9:35 a.m., capturing the Caucasian female with the gray hair. This is at 9:35. Before I arrived at the Chino Transit Center, still on the bus, the fake sun is over me, which I capture on video. EP08802, that's H&L Safety and Service. These are a bunch of demons that are crossing paths together in direct light under the fake sun. That is UPS 70148C1, 8WFJ545, 7DLK 709. 8BEC 699, BF96R68 paper, 8VYD 689, 8NZA 038, 6TBG 249, 8PNW 766. These are the resources of that demon-possessed government that's engaged in obsessive stalking by helicopter, following me from place to place in planes and helicopters by the demon-possessed who are operating ambulances and police vehicles. And the entity is engaging in stalking through them. They demonstrate their condition, 8XGU360. 7VVF706, as you see in the video that I captured in Upland on D Street and Euclid Avenue, 467R70, that's Nevada, at 9:25 a.m. Impossible to be the sun. This is revealing their condition in that environment. 8WDN555, their intentional presence in that environment, which is group stalking on behalf of the state, doing so while manifesting light while your vehicle is driving by me, which has nothing to do with the light source, as I've shown you. The entity engages in this at nightfall, okay, where there's no fake sun over my head. 81064D3, that's a demon, that's an old white man operating UPS. And you're talking about what is the manifestation of light by a demon who is group stalking in a vehicle crossing path. That's what that is. And they're doing so while I'm under the fake sun in Upland, California at D Street and Euclid Avenue at 9:25 a.m., which is in no way the sun, in the same way that it wasn't yesterday at this time, while it remains directly over the bus operated by the same exact employee that I captured on video at 8:45 a.m. at the 7-Eleven where I got on. That's the same intersection where I got back on Route 83 and went to Chino yesterday. CR055 handicap. Never came up to what is up in public library. While I'm en route to Chino, I'm reminding you what the entity's doing day in and day out with the fake sun in Upland, California, as I remain there. And before Upland, I was going to Fontana. And before that, I've been documenting for a long time what is not possibly the sun. The entity is not, in other words, keeping the sun is not remaining over the 280 North Lemon Apartments in perfect alignment with the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library, which is what the entity is doing day in and day out as I go to that venue. All right, that's not coexisting with what is over me at the intersection of D Street and Euclid, while I'm at the Chino Branch Library in the city of Chino at the City Hall in front of the Superior Court, inside of the Chino Branch Library. That's not occurring all at the same time. 8YCK017 from the beginning of the day in Southern California until the end of the day in Southern California. And also the directed light conduct is a demon manifesting light. 5NMA342 has nothing to do with the placement of the fake sun over them. 4SU6271, 8PQG376, and that has been demonstrated while the entity engages in the same exact directed light conduct, light manifesting on the ground while you're driving by at nightfall, which is what I've documented before. 7JUG811, that's an unmarked police vehicle, 82999G1, that appears to be a Caucasian male. He has the cages in his backseat of his vehicle, 7LCW863, as though he has the ability to arrest someone and place someone back there. That looks like an unmarked police vehicle. I want to document their group stalking, engaging in the same exact conduct with directed light, terrorism, while they're group stalking with the people. 93681F2, and this is demon possession as it's demonstrated, but I've already captured it. Okay, Officer Turner, not only at my venue, which was a third-party facilitating venue subject to this demonic system unbeknownst to me in 2018, May 23rd, documented, look at that. Officer Turner comes and personally monitors me at the Carnegie Library under the fake sun, which I documented as well. This is the fake sun that's over me at Farmer Boys on a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. License plate 8WWS476, where at 9:08 a.m., well, it's approximately 9:05 a.m., where I'm coming from, Ontario, Southwest Airlines is group stalking, flying over me while the fake sun remains at 150 East Holt. Contrary to what it's doing while I'm on the bus at 9:08 a.m., okay, you're talking about what is a difference of 2 minutes, because that video is probably less than 2 minutes or so. So you're talking about what's essentially the same time. Yesterday at 9:08 a.m., the fake sun's not on what is the east side of 150 East Holt. It's on the west side, on the driver's side scene while I'm on Route 83 going to Chino, moving in real time in alignment with me, as opposed to what I'm documenting the Upland Police Department, where I'm on this date waking up later at the museum. The fake sun remains where I remain in Ontario at 150 East Holt on the east side of that building. Southwest Airlines is captured in a video, group stalking hovering over my head over the 150 East Holt building, the county building. And the entity is keeping the fake sun over me while I'm then going to what is Farmer Boys at 12:29 p.m., hovering over the edge of that Farmer Boys. And I also use that as an ongoing example of what the entity is doing with stalking with the fake sun. They're doing so over me. By the way, at 12:10 p.m., the entity is keeping the fake sun over the Upland Public Library. Yesterday at 12:10 p.m., the entity was keeping the fake sun over the Chino Branch Library. All right, that's not hovering over some Farmer Boys where Upland Police, where you see their demon possession, directed light, as opposed to being on the ground. It was on the ceiling, on the inside of that Farmer Boy restaurant, Farmer's Boys restaurant in Upland, California, on Foothill, demonstrating demon possession the same way they are group stalking with the people of the state. They are demons alike, okay, no different. They're wearing police uniforms, though. They're going to be prosecuted very severely for that. 6VGK294. 8ZYN417, 6FDP268, 7WGM218, 7ZIG981, license 68323D1. The Upland Police are engaging in criminal summoning. Understand, while American Medical Response is group stalking, the Upland Police is monitoring. They are engaged in and being documented engaging in criminal summoning as well. 8NFT577, 7CEV364. Like I've stated, what I'm documenting right now is in conformity to what I've already established, what I've already documented. I'm showing what is a grand departure. It is prosecuted as what is an entirely unlawful threat by the government that is stalking, threatening your life with helicopters, and stalking by police officers. 7BCV809. Demons, okay, who are delusional psychopaths, monitoring with an entire people who are of that same condition, demonstrating it while light is appearing on the ground while you're doing nothing other than driving a car. And doing so at all times of the day. That's occurring at nighttime as well. That has nothing to do with your headlights. That has nothing to do with headlights while you've got shadows appearing all around your person. Those are demons, and their demon possession is illustrated. It is demonstrated through the environment, and they do so on behalf of an entity, an entire entity that is also stalking heavily by helicopter, and entirely unlawful threat. And so I just want to be clear, point all that out. This is what I captured on video, and this is revealing what is not just that third party that's on video. That's documentation about the people of the state. The demons who are stalking in bathrooms. Okay, spitting out light, essentially, while they're stalking you outside and then stalking you in bathroom stalls. Yes, you're going to federal prison. You will be prosecuted as a perpetual sex offender. 6SSB890. Demons such as those operating school buses. All right, 7MRF132, one of the many federal repercussions for being prosecuted as a group stalker on behalf of a government, with a government, engaging in a sex offense. All right, doing so, no, you will not be able to drive school buses anymore. 8AMC341, like, that's common sense. But you're talking about what are very far-reaching repercussions for prosecution, and regardless of what, I mean, you're talking about driving a company vehicle. Well, you won't be able to drive company vehicles anymore upon being prosecuted, and this is speaking to what is necessary as a matter of justice, like any other sex offender, the demon possessed or a sex offender, as they target you as an entity. 9911953, I believe. 99115G3, excuse me. 8UJR846. And so it's currently 9:40 a.m. And that video is captured on what is the opposite side of the same Upland Public Library. I was at the entrance at 8:50 in the morning. This is the same entrance where I'm at 1:45 in the afternoon, by the way. That's the same entrance where I'm exiting after 6 p.m. 6144803, and the fake sun remains in alignment with me. In addition, at 9:25 a.m., I'm merely on the opposite side of the same library where, by the way, in the evening, I have captured day in and day out, 2021 as well, the fake sun that is aimed precisely through that D Street window area. And the entity is, to the very last moment that it can feasibly do so, aiming direct the light into that Upland Public Library, as though that's what the entity is doing inside of 7-Eleven. Horizontally aiming light through windows in order to touch on the inside, in order to touch. That's showing the desperation. That's showing that ongoing obsession, by the way. It's personified through the conduct with light. And it's impossible. It's like absolutely asininity. Okay, so I want to duck. Let me get this menu. Alrighty, I just want to get this old dirtbag. She's wearing a purple sweater, black shoes. She's group stalking, remaining present at her vehicle on the sidewalk. She's group stalking path while the entity that I'm reading their license plates, and as I'm going through details, she's maintaining presence by standing on the sidewalk. 7DGB616, she's a group stalker. License plate. And she's an old demon-possessed group stalker. 8WDB229-35596Y1, 8MTX. I can't really see the rest of them. Just scratch that. Anyway, it's 9:42 a.m. This is P.O.C. and the light source is remaining over the Upland Public Library today. And doing so, and you're going to pay attention to what the entity is doing with its light source. So this is the pattern. This is the that is what is the pattern of conduct. The pattern of conduct is that which is literally stalking with an environment. And it is prefacing what is a prosecution for terrorism while you are subject to this sort of criminal system, and it is that which is underway by an entire people. All right, and there's no respecter with regard to the type of presence. By type of presence, I mean a third party representing the people of the state. In other words, not a government actor, not one that's affiliated with the state, as I've classified the entity, acting directly and vicariously. This is, in other words, a third party that is operating some company vehicle. You're talking about a third party that is in relevant position in any capacity, and you are group stalking where you live because you're present on behalf of the state that's engaged in surveillance. There is no privacy. There is no privacy while you are subject to that system, and you're not present on any First Amendment basis, on any individual basis. The pattern of conduct, as it is revealed through the environment, is revealing what is the criminal system that you're subject to, and there is no limit with regard to how the entity is capable of being documented in that regard. The entity is going to every unfathomable resort in order to monitor. And that is, I mean, you're talking about the plethora of ways in which you document. They're group stalking where they live. They're group stalking where they work. And it logically follows, by the way, where the government is placing you under surveillance and doing so, even in the ways in which that I've revealed it. It doesn't matter how unfathomable it is. Establishing the pattern of conduct is just that. It's a pattern of conduct, and it's a criminal one. And it's a highly demented one as well. That's all relevant to the way in which you're going to prosecute. Justice is not going to be something that is missed because of the fact that the government's engaging in what's absolutely sick. That's absolutely un-American, and that's absolutely unreasonable. That doesn't even make sense to me. That does not even compute. So you're talking about what is justice for what is an entirely sick and demented system by a government and a demon-possessed people. And as I capture this video again, while I'm referencing at 9:25 a.m., this is the demonstration of demon possession. Understand that directed light that's on the ground, which I've captured in thousands of videos. All right, not just on the ground. You're talking about reaching across buildings, swiping up across my person, reaching up to the tops. I've documented spectacular demonstrations with directed light by the people of the state. It's already established what the entity is doing, and by virtue of what is impossible to ever occur, the fact that I've captured it thousands and thousands of times, that is in and of itself capturing what is the direct evidence of a system. All right. Now, the inability to even articulate what that is, or obviously the ordinary target individual will be, I don't even know what that is. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what do you call that? So I've referred to it as what is directed light because it is directed at the target individual. It's directed to the environment around me. It's directed with regard to its location. You are specifically aiming it and seeking to surround me with it, which is what demons do. Directed light is directly attributed to, directed light is a demonstration, an outward demonstration, because you cannot physically perceive demon possession. You know them by their deeds. So I just want to let you know, while directed light is present in the environment, coexisting with what is the crossing path conduct, it's a demon that is telling you of their condition. Satan is literally making a confession because it's the act of the demonic. In the same way that the light source above me, this is a demonic occurrence. Speaking to the targeting system that you're subject to, it is also revealing the identity of those that surround you. So in the same way, like I said, the evidence, the pattern of conduct, documentation of the pattern of conduct itself is the ongoing evidence of what is coexisting, and this is demon possession. As I've stated at the outset, and as I've shown through the evidence, the ongoing documentation, federal group stalking and monitoring is a satanic targeting system. It's not just criminal that the government itself, the public entity, is placing an American citizen under surveillance. It is also to be criminalized because it's entirely an act of terrorism, while these satanic devices, these satanic methods are employed by a government and an entire people, the people of the state, who are by the thousands, okay, demonstrating their condition, targeting you, touching all over, molesting your body. And as you see in that video at 9:25 a.m., that's conduct on behalf of the entire entity. That demon is engaging in what is not unique. Okay, she's doing so in conformity with what is a well-documented pattern of conduct. She's doing so with specific knowledge of who I am, with the intent to not only harass, with the intent to touch, that's a sex offender, with the intent to place under surveillance, monitoring, facilitation of monitoring, with that engineered light, while the in that environment that surrounds, I'm capturing the fake sun at that time. It's impossible that it's the sun over me while I'm on Route 83 headed toward Chino at the same time, while I'm stationary in Ontario at the Holt Boulevard Car Wash, 9:25 a.m. at the same time, where I am maintaining my presence and documenting, the wealth of documentation. I've used 9:25 as a specific example on more than one occasion, but the entity is maintaining that light source and doing so, and this is the environment that this third party is engaging in that conduct. And so that's all of that is documented with regard to the conduct that third party is engaging in, and that's literally engaging what is the pattern of conduct with the directed light. So it's currently 9:48 a.m. and this is P.O.C. Alrighty, license plates. 7ROE322, 8WCU 796, 8M14212, 8VAP 810, 7EUG 039, 4LFA 767, 40829R1, that's Riley Electric, California 487022, 6SYL008, 6ETH529, 8WPX197, 8PRB375. License 8SVG415, 8REF 433, Rider 033242T1, 8PIN 085, 1624931, SoCal Gas is crossing that. License 6HWT 562, 92832B3, I believe. I can't really see that license plate that clearly. That's H&M. That's the Hinkle. That's a utility truck, commercial vehicle. It's 9:53 a.m. License 7YJK045, 5RQC046, 7VOC308, 6XP, I can't really see that one, 69842F2, I believe. Let's see that is. That is 69842F2, yeah. 7VES173. License 8ZFP016. This is criminal summoning at 9:54 a.m. 5EIP789. This is American Medical Response again. They're just pacing. Vehicle 46103 at the First United Methodist, a non-church. Fake sun is over me. American Medical Response creating light activity and audible activity. Alrighty, the minion that I'm capturing, she's got a pink shirt on. She's pushing two carts in her hand. She is standing there concentrating on her communication device as I'm capturing the audio of AMR. As I switch to my camera mode, she immediately puts her phone away. They're monitoring together. I just want to be clear. Showing you what is the fake sun directly over my head while minions are crossing path on the sidewalk, monitoring with the demons whose license plate that they're crossing path on the roads, monitoring with American Medical Response. Again, those are that's the same entity. You're understanding what are the roles of demons who are using such vehicles. It's called criminal summoning. It is the grounds of federal prison, and American Medical Response engaged in heavy engagement in that. The Upland Police are engaging in criminal summoning with them. It's not just the demons that are sounding the sirens. The people of the state, as you document them, in the same way the entity that's stalking by helicopter, you document the people of the state. The entity is monitoring together, and you will be going to federal prison. That's how the entity is monitoring you, and as a matter of justice, you're going to it must not only be commensurate, it must serve to deter, and then the entity is threatening your life and engaging in terrorism and all manner of psychopath conduct, monitoring together, and that includes the United States Postal Service right here, 7-Eleven. It is 9:55 a.m. License plate 5KHU 908. Group stalking at 7-Eleven. And group stalking by license 8KUB 457 8F93220 7LLY 470. It is 9:56 a.m. And again, that's 8XLD 038. That's a third-party license plate, and the entity is sounding helicopter activity at the 7-Eleven. It's 9:56 a.m. I'm on surveillance cameras. I've returned to the 7-Eleven. License. Eight PUV 720 7 MOG 028 6 EJR 582 8 ROH 087. I want to be clear, they're monitoring with the entity that sounds helicopter activity as I document it at 9:56 a.m. 8 VAV 762. And as I'm documenting, again, the entity that's monitoring my phone, literally what I'm doing on my phone as I'm doing it, and stalking, you're stalking in order to engage in monitoring. And so you're talking about what's the unfathomable. A government that is stalking you, a government that is stalking you 24 hours a day, going to the extent of stalking with helicopters. That's what I've documented the state of California engaging in. Not only is the state a stalker, the state is engaging in what is criminal monitoring and stalking me with helicopters. That's the most extreme that I have never heard of, okay? I've only seen it in movies, okay? So, like I said, it's not some conspiracy theory. This is what the state of California is doing. And let me also be clear, not only am I pointing out and documenting and prosecuting their criminal conduct, I'm also telling you the truth about what's going on in the state of California. These are demons in the position of the government with access to helicopters. These are demons that are engaging in the stalking conduct. And in the same way that I'm documenting the entity that's monitoring my phone, turning down, if you will, turning it up and down, the sound of helicopter activity, that's exactly what the entity did while I'm at the 7-Eleven at 8:56 a.m. So I want to document that, and this is the entity. This is an ongoing demonic environment, not just the light. Okay, it's also the presence. They are engaging in what is obsessive stalking conduct while they would like to appear as though they're in traffic. They're all stalking, driving by me with that ongoing purpose, and it's entirely demented. It's 9:59 a.m. All right, the 7-Eleven employee, again, this is the Caucasian male, license 8XET 911. Captured group stalking on video, going to his vehicle in order to maintain presence in the path. He's group stalking while I'm inside of the 7-Eleven. He's group stalking while I'm outside. He goes to the extent to go outside and sit in his vehicle in order to maintain presence while I am in operation of my phone. I'm capturing video. The entity is flashing directed light all over the place. I'm showing you the P.O.C. And I'm also reminding you about what happened yesterday. If this was the sun, it's certainly not going to be over that 7-Eleven where I was present at 8:45 in the morning. And then I got on the bus, Route 83, and I went to Chino. And I'm already in Chino, documenting the people of the state as I'm walking around Seasons, senior villas, apartments, documenting license plates. And on 7th Street, which the Chino Police Department are crossing path where directed light is present as well. This is a demon that's operating a vehicle representing law enforcement, engaging in stalking and engaging in what is criminal monitoring. This is federal group stalking monitoring that's underway as I captured at 9:59 a.m. The same time that I captured this video right here, right now, today, under what is not possibly the sun. After, by the way, I walked south down the same street, Euclid Avenue. The fake sun is remaining over my head as I walk north and south and north and south. I'm on the bus going north. The entity is going zigzag, zigzag with the fake sun remaining over my head and nowhere over Chino, and it's not coexisting at the same time. Nor is that sunlight that's maintaining presence as demons are pacing all around me, tracking my steps, keeping me surrounded. License 7NST 721 8XCK 547 64483N2 5FJL 349. It is 10:06 a.m. (8ETP 290) SPR Logistics US dot 3170427 California 595798. The license plate is 48598M2, I believe. But that is the name of the company, and that's a California license and the US dot number. (7CLY 516 4YLZ 372 876LG 32, I believe. I can't really see that. 8, you can scratch that up when I couldn't see it that clearly. 8JFJ 790, I believe. LYNLTMO. License plate 4SWJ 882. Um, 4ENJ031. And it's 10:08 a.m. All I did is walk up the block of Euclid Avenue, and the fake sun remains in alignment with me over the same Upland Public Library, where I am nowhere near, as I'm in Chino, California. And so this is why you document, so you're able to witness what is, again, the accusations of the ordinary target individual that perhaps does not have the ability to articulate what the government is doing, and reasonably so. It's understandably that you cannot, because it is so entirely demented and sick. It's beyond weird. It's entirely, it's twisted, it's wicked, it's of darkness. And so it's very reasonable to not be capable to even articulate in a manner that is intelligible with regard to what is a pattern of conduct. You're subject to it everywhere. And so you're talking about what the entity is doing. And so this is a matter of documentation, which is in no way, it's irrefutable. And so the light switch is over me. It's not over the theater at 9:59 a.m. and over me at the 7-Eleven, the same 7-Eleven where I'm at 8:45 in the end. I clearly left this city. All right. That's a matter of what is documentation. And you have the entity the entire time en route to that venue where I remain in Chino. The light source that's over me in Chino. All right, and that's from venue to venue in Chino as well. That's speaking to what is stalking with light. And the Upland police that are engaging in surveillance, parked outside of the Upland Unified School District, they are monitoring the entire time. They're monitoring with the employee, who goes to the extent to engage in group stalking by going into his vehicle to maintain presence. Doing so, the Upland police that remain on the their vehicle is parked. They're monitoring, and it's beyond when I'm just documenting their license plate. That's just me visibly witnessing the fact that they are group stalking. The entity is engaged in obsessive stalking. Okay, that obsession is demonstrated itself while you're stalking me by helicopter. You are revealing that you are a stalker and an obsessed one, going to very extreme levels to engage in stalking me. That's how important I am. That's not a compliment. That's terrorism while the government is stalking you like that. Okay, and it's doing so through the people. I'm capturing the faces, the images, the companies that are of that same exact demon possession. That's where that obsession comes from. And it is undeniable. There's nothing that you're doing that is any distraction or any suggestion that you are doing anything other than engaging in that pattern of conduct. That's why the environment is there. That is the controlling evidence, not the way that a psychopath that is unpersuasive in their form. It's absolutely abnormal the way they conduct themselves in the entire in the environment amongst the entity that is stalking directly and vicariously. But not only that, you're talking about what is paying attention to the environment that you're surrounded by, which you're no longer ignorant of, and becoming acquainted with what is the personality of a psychopath, which are the demon possessed. All right, violent sex offenders, obsessive stalkers who seek to conceal their condition and the fact that they are stalking, the fact that you are literally the center of their universe. And and that's not an exaggeration. You are dragging your children along, your babies, your toddlers, your husband, whatever type of minions, whatever they got going on, a whole vehicle, not even, you're talking about police departments, you're talking about fire departments, you're talking about gassing up helicopters, you're using whole commercial airline planes, you're using what it is, a business establishment where you would be focused on making money. That's what I would be focused on, but you're not. You're all in there engaging together, demons that are focused on another person, while your outward guise is supposed to appear as though you're focused on what a normal person would be focused on. Actually, the operation of a business. You use your operation of a business to engage in the demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with noise, while the entity is keeping a fake sun and directed light inside of the venue. You are also engaging in surrounding that venue with methods of what is light activity, which is visible activity, surrounding an ongoing obsession borne by all of those that are around wherever it is that you are present. It's an entire operation, and it is sick, okay? You're talking about what is indeed obsession. Obsession. And this is born of what is Satan. Satan is using people. Satan, these are puppets, okay? And Satan is also present through the environment, a demonic environment. And that's how you have what is at 9:59 a.m. when I left that address. So you're talking about what is impossible. I am not remaining at the 7-Eleven, and the sun is not remaining over the 7-Eleven when the sun is clearly captured leaving 7-Eleven like I left 7-Eleven, and I went to Chino, California, and I'm on a specific street at an intersection in Chino, California. You're talking about what is not the case. It looks like it's leaving. The sun looks like it's leaving, but it's not really leaving. It's remaining present. No, it's not. Like I said, I've captured every angle which you are witnessing what is undeniable and irreducible evidence of what is stalking with an entire environment, which is terrorism, which is what the entity is doing. And it is entirely pathetic. While I show you the reality of what companies are doing, Amazon Prime, they're using their company resources to engage in stalking. How pathetic is that? That's entirely pathetic. All right. And not only is it pathetic, it's criminal, and it shall be the grounds of what is an unprecedented prosecution, okay, of such companies. And Amazon Prime is not by themselves. You have FedEx, UPS using their companies to engage in stalking a person in concert with the government. They're using helicopters, airplanes, they're using businesses, they're using where they live, and you're talking about what is absolutely no legal argument, because you are group stalking where you live, where you work, where you are present on behalf of the state. This is literally surrounding that demon-possessed population, that psychopath stalker, with not only evidence, but with what is a legal framework whereby Satan is not escaping anything. And it is pathetic. I'm looking at it from the outset with the one with the skill set to reveal and also document and prosecute, providing a tutorial, teaching in every way. But not only that, you have what is absolutely pathetic. While I'm doing so, I am observing and speaking to you what is entirely pathetic. Entirely pathetic. But like I said, it's currently 10:14 a.m. and this is the fake sun that's remaining over the Upland Public Library. Okay? It's not in Chino, and that's speaking to what is stalking with light. And so it is currently 10:14 a.m. and this is I'm present at the Upland Public Library. This is P.O.C. All right, 10:24 a.m. And the light source and directed light inside of the venue of the Upland Public Library, and the entity patrolling into the private space. This is P.O.C. inside of the Upland Public Library. And that is the entry of a third party as I begin recording, stalking with activity, engaging in that demonic conduct in a bathroom. And they are doing so, they being demons that manifest light, stalking with the entity that's stalking by helicopter and police, fire, and ambulance. They're in the bathroom stalking as well. So this is the sex offender, and doing so while they're monitoring my communication device. That's the impermissible threat by that perpetual sex offender. Engaging in what is an ongoing obsession, stalking in a bathroom. That's literally the breakdown of what these demons are doing. It's 10:25 a.m. This is P.O.C. at the Upland Public Library. This is a demon that's stalking in the bathroom and operation of their communication device monitoring in the bathroom. This is a creeper in a bathroom stall stalking somebody. That's what the people of the state, this is their condition, this is their conduct. And the employees and the demons of the male gender slamming doors, which is amplified noise, while this demon is in here operating communication device monitoring. And engineered light under the fake sun. Okay, the demon that you see, again, operating the communication device at 7-Eleven. This is the minion that works at Upland Public Library. She's currently monitoring while my panties are down right now, okay? Just as I documented the day before yesterday amongst Tracy Randolph and Elaine, these are the employees here. They are monitoring while demons maintain presence in the path in a bathroom, and this demon is furiously operating its communication device and doing so, and by it I mean it, because that's a demon, and that's a sex offender that's stalking and monitoring documentation. Okay, it's 10:28 a.m. This is the prosecution of what is the entirety of the entity and the government itself, stalking in a bathroom. All right, it's currently 1:47 p.m. Capturing still images of what's group stalking as I remain in the study room number 1. And the same, I believe he's African, he's got an accent. So this is an African male who's with the bald head. He's group stalking, engaging in what is a surveillance. He engages in surveillance. His method of stalking is literally remaining inside of the Upland Public Library, stalking in the path on behalf of the state for the duration of the day inside of the library while the entity is maintaining light. He is himself engaging in what is stalking in the path while the entity is surrounding with ongoing noise, and he himself, a demon, is also creating noise with which the entity is amplifying around me. So this demon, while he's engaging in conversation on the phone, while he's engaging in anything such as placing a cup on a table or anything, it's a loud boom and bang. Capturing images of these group stalkers, these two workers that are seen stalking in the path. They're doing so in the exact same environment. It is the exact same conduct as the employees. You're talking about nothing other than a different face, the same environment, the same demonic activity. And it is serving for what is monitoring with communication devices while they are accessing the facilities inside of the library where the employees are patrolling back and forth. This is the entity that is stalking in the path and engineered light, monitoring with the demons who are engaging in surveillance in the study rooms. They're engaging in surveillance throughout the entirety of the library. This is what surveillance is. And so their form is stalking in the path while what is amplified. They're looking as though the appearance is though that they are at a distance, that they're opening up some panel through the wall. It is sounding like a boom inside of the study room. That is how demons, by the way, are targeting you. While they outwardly seek to appear as though they're engaging in what is anything that they're engaging in, vacuuming, painting, construction, reading, stalking books, all right, stalking food in a grocery store. It does not matter what they're doing. Their audible activity is always serving for what is surrounding the target individual, and it's amplified in sound. And they are also engaging what is maintenance of presence, surveillance, pacing back and forth. In the engineered light, they are demons that are under what is the fake sun that's literally over me while I'm inside of the Upland Public Library today, which is evidence of their demon possession and their group stalking criminal conduct for which there is no legal argument or excuse or there's no way to reconcile that, the environment that's present, because it's not over the Chino Library. That is the mutually exclusive placement of that light source, serving what is a criminal system that the entity is acting through. And so I'm also capturing what is, again, these are sex offenders that are monitoring me as I'm documenting inside of the bathroom of the Upland Public Library. That's exactly the sexual violence that they are engaging in while they are not taking a pause and stalking me in the path. They're not taking a pause and stalking with audible activity. They're not taking a pause in ongoing knowledge of what it is that I'm doing as I'm doing it. That ongoing P.O.C. follows into that private space, which is the bathroom, where both demons of the female and male gender are engaging in what is criminal surveillance, demons with knowledge of what you are doing while you are surrounded by walls where you are physically not in the presence of anyone, but you remain surrounded, and they are demons that know what you are doing physically. You're dealing with what is Satan, which is the ability to prosecute the demon-possessed population. And so I've captured what is relevant positioning, and these are identification images of what is the sex offender. And this goes with, again, the companies that I'm documenting this morning: Union Pacific, Amazon Prime, the company 7-Eleven, the company acting via Brinks, security. Excuse me, well, it's not really a company, but the actor Chafee Joint Union High School, demons that are stalking in the path, they are being documented, have been documented as what is engaging in conduct on behalf of the government that likes to engage in stalking by helicopter. They're all stalking on behalf of the same public entity. They are of the same exact condition. They are moreover present in the same environment that the entity is literally following me with. This is the system of group stalking, and these demons, the images that I'm capturing, I'm reminding you of the fact that they are sex offenders as well. And they are monitoring me while my panties are down. It is currently 1:51 p.m. This is documentation of what is federal stalking in the private space. It's P.O.C. All right, 1:52 p.m. What I'm capturing images of are these two group stalkers. These are two males, one wearing a neon yellow jacket, and the other one is a heavy set. He's really fat. He's wearing looks like a City of Upland t-shirt. That's the emblem, the logo that you see on the back. They are literally just stalking in the path, keeping their back to me while they are stalking, okay? And this is what Satan does. And they're doing so, they're literally just standing in front of the door of the teen room. They're stalking in the path by standing in front of the panel in the middle of the hallway. And then they're stalking, crossing path, and pacing as going into the employees' little inventory room of the Upland Public Library. They remain standing the entire time that I just captured the significance of the documentation and the sex offenders that are those who I'm documenting inside of the Upland Public Library. The entire time I'm speaking, this is over 4 to 5 minutes, they are stalking in that same hallway, just standing there outside of the teen room door. I captured this in still images, and all they're doing is going inside of the door while those demons, with their back to me, know that I'm taking pictures of them now, just standing in the hallway in alignment, standing outside of the door of the teen room. Okay, this is the conduct of the psychopath, and I'm just breaking down because I'm showing you what is a stalking system. So these are stalkers. They're stalking on behalf of the state. They're demons who know that they're being documented, and then they engage in what is appearing as though they're continuing with some sort of activity other than what they are actually doing, which is pacing while they then enter the room as I start taking pictures while they're standing idle in the hallway outside of the door, instead of using their key and entering inside of the door. You know why they're staying in the hallway? Because they're stalking in the path. And they're doing so while they're looking the opposite direction, standing outside of the teen room. That's the room that is set aside for what are the teenagers. They're just going inside of the teen room. They're going inside of the inventory room. They opened up a panel wall. They opened and closed it, creating ongoing noise. That's all that they're doing. They can pull out piping. They can pull out a paintbrush. They're doing nothing other than stalking in the path. That's why the fake sun is over the Upland Public Library, and that is why it is the fake sun, because it's not over the Chino Branch Library, and it's not over the Chino Branch Library at the same time, nor is the actual sun remaining over the Upland Public Library or the Chino Branch Library for the duration of the day, which my documentation establishes at each venue. This is demonic activity. These are sex offenders who are also engaging in what are surveilling me while my panties are down. It's 1:54 p.m. All right, capturing images of what is patrolling. And these are demons that are repeatedly crossing path one after another. They're doing so by walking into the entrance, for example, into the Upland City Hall, the Upland Public Library. This is crossing path conduct under what is engineered light. The light source is directly over the same entrance side of the Upland Public Library as it was this morning, as I captured at 8:50 a.m. 9:25, it's over the D Street side of the Upland Public Library. It's back over the entrance side because this is where I'm at. And I also capture what is engineered light that's filling the venue on the inside of the Upland Public Library. The company Matich, it's the bright orange truck, M-A-T-I-C-H, I believe. They are stalking in the path. They drive specifically at that little pathway in that parking lot. They're stalking in the path. And the entity is maintaining flashing light, a large sign flashing light in the parking lot area. This is light activity. This is surrounding the venue with light activity on an ongoing basis. This is ongoing facilitation while surveillance is underway at the Upland Public Library, where the entity is keeping the light source over me. This is the P.O.C. All right, this is what I'm capturing while I'm sitting outside. And you see the light source that is glaring in its essence, hovering over 450 North Euclid Avenue. It is not hovering over the Chino Branch Library in Chino, California. And that's not occurring at the same time. As you also see in images, that light source moves as I move, and it remains where I remain. This is captured. It's currently 2:16 p.m. These are images shown outside, and what I'm showing you images of what's going on inside. This is surveillance by the state. This is the people of the state that is stalking on behalf of that government, that engages in group stalking using helicopters, the people of the state, in engineered light day and night. This is the group stalking system in operation. It's currently 2:16 p.m. And the minions that are entering inside of the Upland Public Library, the minions that work at the Upland Public Library, those that are pacing in and out, they're all doing so on surveillance cameras as well. It is 2:16 p.m. It is 5:35 p.m. I'm on the elevator, as you can hear, and that is, first of all, something that you cannot hear in the women's restroom. But my point is that, and you have a group stalker waiting at the elevator door with their communication device monitoring. And this is exactly what's happening when I am walking from the study room number 1 on surveillance cameras, and I'm capturing what is group stalking inside of the venue where the entity is keeping engineered light inside of the venue at 5:35 p.m. Alrighty, I had to take a pause real quick. I wanted to capture the video of the light source that remains in alignment with the same entrance that I stood in front of at 8:58 in the morning. I stepped out in the middle of the day at 2:22 in the afternoon, and stepping out right now this evening at 5:35 p.m. and using that timestamp with regard to what I documented on Sunday. It's not just Sunday because I used the specific time of 5:35. That's why I'm referencing Sunday. But like I stated, I remained inside of the Chino Branch Library yesterday at 5:35 p.m. as well, okay? So all I'm doing is using a specific timestamp. This is in no way negating what is a matter of a scientific fact that the sun is not remaining over any address stationary. That's the complete opposite of supposedly how the sun operates, the environment operates, and that's what I'm capturing in documentation. But also you have what is the light source that that's remaining present over the same entrance that I stood in front of this morning, and you're looking at what is presence in that demonic environment. It's presence in that demonic environment by those who are demon possessed, engaging in what is criminal conduct while they are of that demon possession, that condition, which is relevant to what is terrorism. These terrorists, these demon-possessed group stalking minions, are perpetual sex offenders who are engaging in what is presence, which is group stalking, in private spaces such as the bathroom. And this is what I was speaking to, the Caucasian female who you see exiting the restroom. She runs into the restroom as I exit study room number 1, and I am headed upstairs to go on the elevator. I'm headed to the elevator to go upstairs to capture the fake sun. But this is this is the pattern of conduct. These are demons that are tracing my every move. This is what the entity is doing with vehicles, with light while I'm outside. This is what they're doing inside of a venue. And this demon runs into the bathroom, where, by the way, even in my absence in that bathroom, she is stalking, monitoring in the bathroom, maintaining relevant positioning. It is the sexually violent motive, however, to run into the bathroom in the event that I go into that private space. That's for the purposes of maintaining presence on behalf of the government that's stalking by helicopters, by the way. This is the government that's engaging in that hovering and sexually violent and highly demented, disconcerting and disturbing pattern of conduct of group stalking by an entity that is demon possessed. And that's what I capture again, and as I am capturing the demonic, this is the light source that's remaining over me as I step out of the entrance of the Upland Public Library. Understand, while I'm inside of the Upland Public Library, the location of that light source in alignment with me at that entrance is not what I would be able to capture under the roof of the Upland Public Library. That light source is moving as I move. That light source, that's called stalking. That light source is remaining where I remain, inside, keeping in alignment with me while I'm inside under the roof of the Upland Public Library. That's called stalking. It is stalking with light. It is entirely demonic. It is revealing what is a demonic environment and the demon possessed that are stalking. And this is the system of what is, I have properly referred to it as what is federal group stalking and monitoring. That's what the system is. It is referred to in the ordinary terms as gang stalking, group stalking, or state organized stalking is how I've referred to it. It's the government's pattern of conduct, and this is the government that I'm capturing on an ongoing basis that is stalking by helicopter. Understand, this is how the government is engaging in maintenance of presence, while the government is operating a satanic targeting system whereby it is placing one under surveillance with communication devices via these demons who are surrounding, engaging in absolutely demented and perverted and disturbing conduct, which is the maintenance of ongoing noise amongst engineered light, noise which centers on where your location is. This is called stalking with activity, as I referred to it. But that activity is not only audible, it is also activity that is either sensational or visible. So this is creation in the environment, by the way. The light activity that I showed you inside of the parking lot of the Upland City Hall, this is surrounding the venue with ongoing light activity. It's for massive facilitation. While the entity is driving around all day long through the parking lot, on the streets and the highways, this is the demon-possessed population that's engaging in massive surveillance while remaining in the Upland Public Library all day long. That's what the entity is doing. And so as I capture this venue, I'm capturing the fake sun over the venue at 5:35 p.m. And you're remembering I'm standing at that same entrance at 8:50 in the morning, not the sun. It is also, again, I'm in Chino, California. I just did not get a video at this specific time of 5:35 5 p.m., but I'm remaining there. That's why I capture video at 6:10 p.m. I'm capturing video at 4:17 p.m. I remain in Chino. That's where that fake sun remained, and that is not remaining in the entrance at the entranceway of the Upland Public Library. It's nowhere in Ontario over the B&G Plaza, aiming light into the B&G Plaza as though that is sunlight, which is exactly what I documented on Sunday, getting out of Tracy Banks's vehicle, where she is monitoring me, and that's why the fake sun remained over her vehicle that I'm inside. The entity molesting me with what is directed light, terrorizing with directed light, shooting it into her back seat, as I documented on video. And this is speaking to what is mutually exclusive. All right. The sun is not remaining, first of all, over an address, physically, the object itself, over an address anywhere in the world. This is contrary to the very definition of what is supposedly the sun. In addition to that, again, like I stated, it is also not at the same time remaining over 2 venues in its zenith over my head while I documented at the B&G Plaza at 5:35 p.m. and as I documented right now at the Upland Public Library. All right, and that goes for every other location. I use specific timestamps to give you very vivid illustrations of what is even down to the very minute, showing so that you can see with your eyes what is stalking with the light. What is, and stalking with a fake sun is a massive manner of stalking with light. It is the conduct of Satan. You are witnessing Satan. Those who are talking about that Satan is not real, Satan doesn't exist, the documentation defies that. And so you are able to witness that through what is also the conflict with what are scientific facts. So this is literally the evidence of that, if you need it. This is documentation of what is criminal conduct in its demonic activity, speaking to what is the execution of a criminal system, all right? And so that's what I'm capturing while I'm showing you what is an entirely impossible environment, meaning it's an unnatural environment. It is one that is in conflict with what are scientific facts surrounding the way that our environment supposedly works and operates. And while the entity, again, keeps a light source exclusively over the entryway, over the roof of the Upland Public Library, and that is exclusive, because it is not over anywhere in Ontario. It's not over the Shiro's Liquor, nor does nature dictate that. It's not going to be over B&G Plaza. When I'm at the B&G Plaza at 7:50 in the morning, the actual sun is not maintaining stationary presence over anything. It's supposedly engaged in ongoing constant movement. All right? And so you're talking about what is, in every way, the impossibility of this being naturally the case, the natural environment. And it also, I'm capturing what is abnormal and unnatural environment by people. And that is because they are of a specific condition, and that is demon possession. All right, they are stalking around everything that I'm capturing in videos. What you are looking at is the ongoing obsession, as they are literally monitoring in an ongoing ceaseless basis. As I am documenting, as I am prosecuting, everything you see them doing while they're talking, while you're hearing doors closing, while they're walking by, while they're standing or sitting up, everything that they are doing is serving for the elements of monitoring, and it is that obsession of the people of the state. You are looking at the condition that which you cannot physically perceive. You are looking at demons that surround me, and they're monitoring in real time while I'm capturing video. Walking all around, they're engaging in the activity creation. They're in engineered light, engaging in conversation, engaging in movement, engaging in what is stationary presence. They're group stalking, all right? And everything that they are doing, they are engaged in an ongoing obsessive endeavor to that end. That's literally what I'm capturing, and that is speaking to what is terrorism. Those are psychopaths that are doing that, and they're doing it also in what is a private space. That's the sex offender, all right? And that obsession is borne by the government as well, as I've documented the government, the state of California, that is engaging in what is group stalking, and the government likes to do so by helicopter, as I've documented for years in hundreds of video documentation and images, which is what the people of the state are doing in concert with that same exact government. That same exact stalking conduct does not take a pause. It has not ceased. It's underway, and I'm capturing it in real time. It is currently 5:49 p.m., and this is P.O.C. at the Upland Public Library. ZRK008, monitoring with minor children in the vehicle. 7NKM168, and I suspect not a natural-born citizen, ripe for deportation, if that indeed is the case. It appears to be an Asian female. ANZ8182, 8TAE800, 8ANW648, 4VZD528, 8AMX248, 65149C2, 8HDG245, 8TPV904, 74330H2, 7VCM337, 8PGV951, 0465772, 5DNX738, 7YSY325. 8DST378 49747F3 8MMY663 CCZ, these are the one, 5HIG110 8H9195968, excuse me. 6RUB617 8YYN094 4TUL162 8VIV586 8MTP071 6TUK266, I believe. 7, I can't really see that. Let me scratch that one. 4UVB302. Or excuse me, 4VUB, I think. 302. 7WVT732. And I'm at the intersection of Arrow Highway and Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is right here, as I've already captured on video, which is, again, just the maintenance of a fake sun over me, and I've literally documented this intersection 7:50 in the morning, where American Medical Response is group stalking. 63677Y2 vehicle, 46103, just like they were this morning, engaging in what is additional acts of criminal summoning. All right, that is license 8VPD230 monitoring 5GKM160 3VDF215. It's 6:49 p.m. American Medical Response to people of the state. The intersection where I'm at what is 14 Arrow Highway in Upland, California, 477 North Euclid Avenue. The people of the state residing in relevant position, and monitoring at the facilitating venue of what is 461 Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. This group stalking where you live, and that's perfectly feasible. The entity is engaging in what is group stalking, and you are talking about presence on behalf of the state, and that's why you don't have any place of origin where there's any exception to that P.O.C. And that's why directed lighting, the fake sun, is documented where the people of the state work and live. It's 6:50 p.m. VNY760 33951B1 LALABLA 8YBU568 8EKX434 TOKIDOK 6DIJ850 8KLN104 7ETH352 8FRU590 N193VO 5EKV310 8PTG185 6HJH105 8CMW483 7VPP497 8SQV986 4SSY685 82574L1. They're all engaging in terrorism, directed light flashing while they drive vehicles in what is engineered light that's sitting in the middle of the street, while the fake sun is remaining over the same venue as I'm at the intersection of Arrow Highway and Euclid Avenue. All right, not the sun, not sunlight. These are demons that are group stalking now that I'm outside. 4WGE415. These are sex offenders who have been monitoring me all day long while my panties have been down in the bathroom. Okay, I'm identifying the same exact actor, adding more names onto the ongoing roster. It's a running list. It is currently 6:52 p.m. 5JCK464. License BR91D19 paper. 8XRC225 is on the back of that vehicle with that paper plate on the front. License 6NLJ084. 8MQZ271. Rider's license plate is ripped off. License plate 6475STT. And engaging in what is substantial directed light while utilizing that logo on the front of that truck with no logo on the trailer. But that's a license plate on the back of that truck. License 6LGP747, 7AQD856, 8BNL512. CBZ 9496, Arizona 6NKA 603. And like I stated, the exact same demonic activity, the exact same criminal presence in a specific environment, which is serving a criminal purpose. That is the documentation of what our companies who are representing the people of the state engaging in sexual violence. 7ZZY118, that is the company writer that likes to engage in touching and terrorizing with directed light. It's a sex offender. It's exactly how the people of the state in all of its forms shall be prosecuted. And it's 6:53 p.m. Omnitrans is on its way. 8YLS 806. Omnitrans is license 1545797. It's 6:54 p.m. 8W12637, I believe. 7KRV541, 5WFT 506, 7MYK975, 25011S1, 7UFX238. The entity's fake sun is to the passenger side of the bus, as I've shown you, while it remains on the same Euclid Avenue, as it is in the morning while I'm on the same route. And here you go, sir. Cool. And the entity is flashing while I'm sitting on the passenger side of the bus, so that means my back is to where the fake sun is aiming through the window, and the entity is engaging in what is flashing my face still, while my back is to where the fake sun is. The entity is touching the front of my body, flashing all over my face. This is the sex offender that's engaging in the P.O.C, just like a capture in the morning, the same exact light activity. And it is 6:59 p.m. I remained in the parking lot of the Chino Branch Library yesterday. This is just speaking to what is now possibly the sun, again, as I was pointing out in Chino. And this is the sex offender that's stalking with the light source. Let me use your trash can, excuse me. This is the touching with directed light while you're subject to surveillance. And those are all third parties. Those are demons, all right, monitoring. And a demon sitting on the bus is monitoring, group stalking on the bus. A license 6LGP747 included, 7MJN442. They're all engaged in an ongoing sex offense, 5SXK349. Group stalking literally by the herds around the bus while the entity molests with light. 81673N2 is the correct license plate. It's 6:59 p.m. License 8SVP184. This appears to be a very old Latina female. She's got a boy haircut, prominent nose. She's driving a white vehicle. She's a sex offender. She's touching all over me while she's stalking. All right, license 6KVP042. And that ongoing sex act and that's what it is. It's a sex act while the entity is monitoring you, molesting you with what is engineered light. Because they're stalking you. (7UFX238)
F Street.
8USU 610, and it is 7 p.m. That's audible activity while I'm operating my phone. That loud squeaking, everything you hear is deliberate, as deliberate as the fake sun over me all day. 7HGK667, 8FAF900, 8WAP855, 7UHB211, 7LLY174. They're sex offenders group stalking with Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. Also Arco at 434 North Euclid Avenue. The Chevron that's directly across the street. The entity is covering the buildings with directed light. 8ZGH682, like it was yesterday at 7:06 p.m. when I'm on 7th Street in Chino, California, all over the 7th Street Theater. All right, this is the pattern of stalking with light, and these are demons that are touching all over me while they're monitoring. 8HYW862 Glorias Cochinas. License 8MAV282. Let's see, 4th sector, that's at the intersection of, I believe this is D Street and Euclid Avenue in Ontario. Directed light all over the Papa John's, all over the storefronts along Euclid. while the entity's fake sense remaining in alignment with me going southbound on Euclid Avenue, Route 83. License 88ET686, 7HKG662, 8VRK. I can't really see the rest of them. 7. I can't see that one. Which one's that? This is employee number 2366, who was also molesting, documenting him not only as the people of the state, but as Omnitrans, which is a company identified as the people of the state, engaging in sex offense molestation while you're sitting on a bus subject to surveillance. License 7SUW139. Directed light covering the Wells Fargo on C Street and Euclid Avenue, the Ontario Town Square. The same one where I've documented March 6th, where the entity kept the fake sun from morning until the evening, setting it while I stood at that Ontario Town Square. That was March 6th. March 13th, remained in Ontario as well, the entity engaging in setting the fake sun in alignment with the Ontario Town Square. Never capable of capturing what's a light source in Chino, California, or over the Upper Public Library, as I remained in Ontario on those particular days. And the entity kept the fake sun over my head and then setting it in alignment to me at the same Ontario Town Square. It is currently 7:03 p.m. Directed light covering the grounds of the Ontario Town Square, covering the 280 North Lemon apartment, touching all over the top of the clock at the Ontario Town Square. This is all engineered light. 8VAJ 723. And in the way that the entity is covering the grounds with what is light, and you're understanding what is the unnatural environment, you are thereby witnessing the existence of that system. Federal Group Stalking and Monitoring, KEW 4841. That's an out-of-state license plate. That is a New York license plate, is what it says. That's serving for this employee, whose employee number I recited. He's monitoring. He's also a violent sex offender, molesting. At what is 7:04 p.m., I'm at Euclid and Holt in Ontario. Fake sun at the same intersection where I was at this morning. Excuse me. Alrighty, it is 7:05 p.m. and this is again like 8BAF 808 crossing path. This is license plate 1545797, bus 2341. It is 7:05. 8UHD230 D449D1 R29J136 8HYU328. And employee 2366 is stalking the path with light activity as well. Monitoring. Facilitating monitoring as well. License 8RHA959 8ZFY492 8UHD230. And it is 7:05 p.m. 8UKR432 8SOI889 8PBJ032 8FGU307. See 8WRY461. EKT141. All right, that's ongoing loitering by this employee 2366. That's the employee number. Driving bus 2341. License 6NBY276 8TIY200 7UMM887. This is the identification of what is the entity that is a sex offender. Right? License MOMSCOI 8EHW553 6ALA557 CC16R99 paper. 7DDJ633 8WZL125. Omnitrans bus 1361 going northbound right now at 7:06 p.m. License plate 26355U1 Commercial Scaffolding Incorporated CSI, using that commercial vehicle engaging in sexual violence and group stalking terrorism. 6XBN193 6185182 6JGG039 8GCR382. Capturing video at 7:06 p.m. at the intersection of Euclid and Holt. And this is the same intersection in Ontario where when I went to Chino, California, and I was capturing that video, I'm saying this is not in alignment with what is in perfect alignment with me in the city of Ontario at the intersection of Euclid and Hope Boulevard, where the entity is as I get off of the bus, keeping a fake sun in alignment, which is the pattern. That's exactly what you saw while I remained at the Chino Branch Library, remained in perfect alignment with me while I remained inside of the library. You're also witnessing it while I'm in transit anywhere, but you see it very vividly. Well, you see it very vividly while that fake sun is literally moving outside of the window, remaining over my head. But you also see it very vividly while I'm remaining inside of the building and I step out every few hours, show you what the fake sun is doing. Not moving until I move, and doing that all day long. That's not the sun. All right. And that's also not sunlight in the middle of the street. That's not sunlight that you'll see on the passenger side of a truck. That's demonic activity. And the directed light that they are all stalking in the path with, this is group stalking. You're also witnessing the demonic conduct, the act of terrorism by the people of the state who like to stalk in the path with light as well. Demons. And that's what you see on the side of 150 East Holt Boulevard in this video that I captured at 7:06 p.m. 7UZX584, 7LBU320. 93995U2, and in this video that I captured, it's a vivid reminder of what exactly they are doing, they being these demon-possessed third-party group stalking sex offenders who are I'm continuously identifying through my unilateral means of documentation, but the people of the state, every single last one, shall be prosecuted as the sex offender that it is, engaging in this criminal system with a government, and doing so no matter what corner of California that you live in. As I have shown that pattern of conduct is absolutely unhindered, and this is speaking to what is a pattern that is established, and that pattern is underway no matter where the target individual goes. Thus, the people of the state, every single last person of the state, shall be prosecuted with the state. 01792A1, 8WOE529, 93995U2, 6EVT275, 7NRT889, 8WYC 773, 235ST, handicap 54948T2. These are the demon-possessed as I'm identifying them. I'm also prosecuting for criminal conduct, but I'm naming Satan's minions. All right, and a prosecution is going to accomplish that as well. But I want to be clear, and this is what I reminded you in the video that I just captured at 7:06 p.m., the same exact time where I am in Chino, at the same street where I was present in the morning. That's not the sun right here in Ontario. That's not the sun that was over me in Chino. It's not occurring at the same time. There's not some perfect alignment such that it's appearing in alignment with me in Ontario in the same way that it is in Chino at the same time as well. You have what is, remembering, the entity that's stalking by helicopter. This is the entity that's stalking with that state. Every single last one that I'm naming, 7FJF923, every business name that I'm speaking to who's in relevant position, every company name, every license plate, every image that you're looking at with regard to the pattern of conduct. Cana Development, license 55256K3. That's a business, that's a commercial actor, a demon driving that vehicle, engaging in criminal conduct, and I'm also identifying a company that engages in demonic activity, which should and shall be a matter of public information. As federal group stalking and monitoring is a criminal act and established as a matter of precedent, 6JGD 699. And this is the entity that is stalking with the state while I'm right over here at the museum where they're group stalking right now. They're group stalking all night with the government that does not take a nap, that was stalking all day in the bathroom, stalking all day at the Open Public Library, doing so vividly revealed under what is not possibly the sun, and following back to the same exact location where I boarded Route 83 in the morning, okay? That's the pattern of conduct. Ontario Police, these demons, license plate 1507381, excuse me, vehicle 1854, 7AB6153, and Ontario Police license 1591757, vehicle 1007. These demons are group stalking all night long while in concert with the people of the state and the entity that's flying over. They're the same entity. That's what I'm stating, and these are demons. The Ontario Department, very, very, very plagued. They are sick with Satan. All right, they have Satan all over them. That's a threat. Okay, Satan shall be a bad word with regard to the prosecution and being under that condition, which is a matter of evidence. It's not just some voodoo trickery, some sort of situation circumstance that you're speaking of and you can in any way establish, or you don't know what it is. No, it's based on what is present in the environment. And if you want to refer to it as being that scientific impossibility, you can call it that. That's fine. That's probably how it shall be referred to under in legal terms, but it's capturing the demonic. It's capturing Satan. And this is a criminal system that is in the service of Satan itself. And these are puppets of Satan. And that's group stalking. That's demonic activity by the Ontario police, who are the same exact entity monitoring and group stalking psychopaths, sounding sirens incessantly, listening to everything that's going on. If I take my socks off, if I move my pinky toe, if I reach into my pocket, if I open my eyes, if I stare in a certain direction, okay, if my stomach starts growling, all right, anything, if I take my hat off, the entity is a psychopath and starts creating ongoing noise, which in what is engineered light, which remains at all times. Stalking with light and stalking with noise while stalking with that light. That is the pattern. That's the pattern of conduct. And so the entity is engaging in that with the Ontario police, and that's they're engaging in crossing paths as I'm reading that. It is currently 7:17 p.m. All right, it is currently 7:35 p.m. I am seated at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, so I want to document the elements of monitoring as the entity engaged in it, the methods, in other words, while the entity is engaged in ongoing terrorism, and the maintenance of the elements of monitoring in concert with the people of the state. As I am at the Ontario Museum, the entity engaging in what is Union Pacific, crossing path on the train, super amplified audible activity, under what is engineered light that the entity is keeping at the top, for example, touching on the tops of the trees on the top of the museum, as I captured on video at this Ontario Museum. And I've captured that as the general pattern. This is what the entity is doing with directed light, touching all over buildings outside, all over walls and whatnot. And that light is at the top of the museum as I captured it not too long ago, a few days ago. And that's what the entity is doing while audible activity is created by what is Union Pacific that is going eastbound on the train tracks. And it's amplified, booming amplified audible activity while it does so. That's P.O.C. It's followed by what is the sound of sirens. And this is after I'm capturing on my podcast the demon-possessed Ontario police who are group stalking. I read their license plates. And they are engaged in ceaseless stalking, as I've already documented and as I stated on my podcast. Union Pacific first, and then the entity is sounding sirens second. Then the entity is flying over by airplanes third. And then the entity is flying by helicopter, and it is literally consecutive and in that order. In doing so, it's currently 7:37 p.m. and the people of the state are group stalking while I'm sitting on the bench. Stalking meaning they are literally standing behind, and as I engage in like leaning forward, for example, and that's called a new movement. That's what I'm doing. Based on what I do, you're talking about what is a stalker that's already looming, okay? Already being a creeper. You're already present. And you're talking about, and doing so inconspicuously. And so if I were to turn around and look, then you're talking about what is plain stalking in the path, but appearing outwardly as though you're doing something. You're talking on the phone, you're walking your dog, you're doing whatever. They're creeping behind me. The moment that I lean forward, this is a new movement on my part. This demon is immediately walking by loudly, which, again, seconds earlier, no, you don't hear anything, and you are inconspicuously present, engaging in what is that demonic behavioral pattern, creating activity, crossing path, being present, popping out of nowhere as I engage in something, either on a communication device or physically. And this is acting in concert with the entity that's sounding helicopter, plane, train, sirens. Okay. It is currently 7:38 p.m. I just want to include that on my podcast right now. This is what the entity is doing all night long, as I've already documented. So this is the entity that's making a U-turn. That is UPS, that is group stalking. UPS is group stalking, making a U-turn right over the museum. That's called being in relevant position to me, getting in my path. The objective is to do nothing other than literally engage in what is a donut in the sky. Flying toward, you're already stalking. This is what creepers are doing behind me while I'm sitting on the bench. This is a creeper that is in a plane, a whole plane that is already hovering right here and immediately crossing path. And the entity is muting that conduct because the entity is creating amplified audible activity while the people of the state, including UPS and a commercial airline plane, which I just captured in a still image, and it's flying over the museum and making a U-turn right here at the museum. That's concentrated presence where I'm at, concentrating that plane activity where I'm at. That's group stalking using a plane. Anyway, it's currently 7:39 p.m. and this is the P.O.C. It is 10:05 p.m. and I captured video of the entity that is stalking by helicopter. And so 10:05 p.m. right now, the entity is flying about by helicopters, engaging in ongoing stalking, which is audible activity creation. Again, let me reiterate, the system of group stalking, federal group stalking and monitoring, the state itself, this is the government, the state of California, is group stalking. The entity engages in group stalking by helicopters, planes, police, fire, and ambulances. This is where the entity is group stalking, and it is doing so directly. Group stalking is a monitoring system whereby you are subject to criminal monitoring with communication devices via the maintenance of presence in the path, which is the act of stalking as a group, as an entity, as the government. The government is group stalking directly using helicopters, as I'm documenting. That's what I'm documenting right now. That's what I want to document. 10:05 p.m., the entity is flying over by helicopter. And you have what is the entity that is group stalking vicariously. Okay? That is the people of the state. The people that surround you, strangers that are monitoring you. And as they are monitoring, they are stalking. They are stalking with the government, on behalf of the government, in concert with the government. Okay, so I just want to reiterate that while the entity is sounding helicopter activity, group stalking is a criminal system that is ceaselessly underway. In other words, the entity is always stalking by helicopters. It's a 24-hour system of stalking because the entity is monitoring, engaging in state surveillance. Stalking by helicopters, stalking by the people of the state as well. While I am at the Open Public Library, for example, today as I document, the entity is stalking by helicopter. That is not the particular method that I'm capturing on my podcast and video, because that's not what the entity is presenting to be documented. The entity is monitoring documentation. I have documented that before, however. I have documented the same exact pattern of conduct. The entity's knee-jerk reaction with helicopters, pursuant to the same demonic behavioral pattern based on what I do as I do it, stalking with audible activity creation using the method of helicopters. The entity is always stalking by helicopter. The entity engages in what is ongoing stalking by helicopter. The entity is stalking also through the people of the state, okay? And so I want to be clear, it's not that the entity is only stalking by helicopter at certain times or at certain locations. I've documented contrary to that. The entity is sounding helicopter activity and flying over visibly in order that you are witnessing the presence of a helicopter, which is the entity group stalking, which is nothing other than a method of what is the state that is group stalking and doing so directly. The people of the state are group stalking vicariously, group stalking on behalf of the government. Okay, so I want to make sure I lay that out. So it's 10:05 p.m. It's currently 10:08 p.m. right now, and the entity is sounding more helicopter activity. And what I captured in video is the entity that is indeed stalking, and what you have is demonic pacing, what you'll see in this video, in engineered light. So the entity is... That is a very real criminal act of group stalking by the state of California. Just as I captured on video, and as I captured at 10:05, it's currently 10:09 p.m. And like I stated, this is criminal conduct that is attributed to the people of the state, but literally the state of California, there are government actors who are going to federal prison for this very act of impunity. It's literally foolish, because I'm literally going to play the tape of this, and people are going to federal prison for it. Not only the people of the state, but literally the government actors are going to be held accountable, and they're going to federal prison. But nonetheless, the entity is flying in a circle. That's what you heard right now. Following up with what is train activity. Understand that it's the same exact entity. It's going from different methods of audible activity in the same exact engineered light. That's what group stalking is. The entity is flying in a helicopter, flying in circles, and as I was stating, the entity is always stalking by helicopter. You're talking about what is ongoing maintenance of presence. Okay, so this is the P.O.C. of what is group stalking, a very real system, contrary to what the demon-possessed group stalking entity says on the internet, by the way, talking about the fact that group stalking is not real, paranoid schizophrenics, and all of that, which is substantive. That's substantive documentation with regard to what is criminal defamation. You will not in any way defame the target individual, inflict any more harm, and also in any way inject yourself into what is a legal process of prosecuting the government that's placing American citizens under surveillance by engaging in such conduct and essentially adding more harm, while the psychopath that is indeed stalking in incredible manners such as helicopters and demons sitting around in emergency vehicles sounding sirens and demons on train tracks pacing back and forth, okay, while the volume is literally hyperbolized, which is the act of the demonic itself, while there isn't even necessarily any train on the train tracks for that sound to occur, you will be subject to what is federal prison as well. This is ongoing documentation of what is documented. Let me be clear. In the same way that I'm naming third parties inside of the Upland Public Library, they are stalking, they are engaging in sexual violence, they are monitoring in concert with this government that is aiding in the prosecution of the people. That is the prosecution of what is group stalking. The entire entity is broken down. The criminal conduct by the government is the very evidence against the people. The criminal conduct of the people is the very prosecution of the government. It's the government's P.O.C, the pattern of conduct. And like I said, while the entity is having a field day doing donuts over me in a helicopter, and you hear that on podcast, it is going toward the federal imprisonment of state actors whom I love to remind you. She's going to federal prison. Stephanie Ortiz. Okay? She wants to monitor me while my panties are down and then engage in summoning the demon-possessed law enforcement agency. She's going to federal prison. And I have plenty of evidence speaking to how long she should be going to federal prison, how much of a threat and how much of a sexually perverted and violent threat that she is to the public, intending to obstruct justice while threatening my life with this very government who's doing donuts over me in helicopter, threatening my life while that psychopath is listening to me document, just like Stephanie Ortiz was. Just like at the venue of the Fontana Lewis Library, where the government was doing the exact same thing, threatening my life and stalking me by helicopter in a specific environment. Fake sun, fake moon over my head, molested with what is directed light. That's exactly what I documented at the Fontana Lewis Library. Yeah, she's going to federal prison, and it is 10:12 p.m., and that's what I'm stating with regard to, again, understanding what is ceaseless stalking by helicopter. The entity is always group stalking by helicopter. You are talking about what is an entire entity, a demon-possessed population that's engaged in obsessive stalking. And as I'm capturing videos of, for example, engineered light and a fake sun that's remaining over the Upland Public Library for in excess of 12 to 13 hours, you are witnessing the obsession while they are sitting around inside, while they are at work at the Upland Public Library, while they're walking in and out of the entrances of the Upland Public Library, while they're walking up and down the stairs, while they're sitting at the desk partitions, while they're remaining in the study rooms, while they're engaging in conversation, while they're standing up and down, while they're going in and out of the bathroom, while they're getting on and off of the elevator. They're monitoring. They are monitoring, and they are engaging in that same obsessive stalking, and everything that they are doing is for that criminal purpose. It is the ongoing obsession, the unlawful concern, the absolutely impermissible threat by a demon-possessed population, monitoring with this demon that is representing the state of California that's flying in circles by helicopter. And that's what you listen to, and that's the evidence against the people. And that's what will be submitted in a federal court against the entity. It is currently 10:14 p.m., and this is P.O.C.